Great morning. Great morning. Great morning, you guys. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Where you at though? Where you at though? Where you at though? Great morning. All right. Oh God. Come on in, y'all. Come on in. Come on in. Let me get this. Great morning. Great morning. Great morning. Hold on. Hey, Elvaline, how are you? Great morning, gorgeous. Good to see you. Come on in, you guys. Oh, let me share. I'm trying to grab this. Trying to grab this link. Hey, Jackie. Good to see you, gorgeous. I'm amazing. I am amazing. Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to get this link. Hey, Ashley. Hey, Andrea. Good to see you. Y'all come on in. Come on in. Make sure you share. Make sure you share. Oh, I guess I could do it this way. This would probably be easier. Oh, no, because it's not connected. Phew. All right, y'all. Here we go. Great morning. Great morning. Let me share, you guys. Let me share. Let me share. Let me share while you guys are sharing. And we're going to get started. I am so excited. Here we go. Copy. God is good. God is good all the time. All the time. Let me share. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Y'all know it's going to be one of them days already. Y'all already know. Thank you guys for sharing, Jackie, Elvaline. God got me. God got me. Timu. Yes, baby. That Timu be serious. All right, let me put this in here. Okay. All right. Yes, Ashley, all the time. Hey, Catherine. Great morning, April. Yes, Philly in the building. You know, my daddy spent time in Philly and New Jersey. Like that's where a lot of his story takes place. In the book. In the book, y'all. In the book, y'all. All right, all right. Listen, let me go on and get started. Let me go on and get started. And we doing it. Thank y'all. Listen, this is definitely Timu. This is some Timu right here. All right. They need to pay me. They need to pay me. I need a check. Okay. Look, y'all know what time it is. We're getting ready to get started. But what would your day be without getting alive, alive, alive? So we getting ready to get alive right now, you guys. So I'm super excited about that. Look, what I know is it helps with blood sugar, balancing out blood sugar, supports your blood sugar, supports your blood pressure, and balancing out your blood pressure, helps with clarity, focus, energy, helps to boost your metabolism, increases your energy, decreases your appetite, enhances your mood and libido, and promotes weight management, along with a lot of other things. I tell you, my skin, my nails, like I've seen so many changes in myself, in my body, in my life, in my quality of life since I started these products. So let's go ahead and get started. Y'all know what time it is. Yep. Shot, 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 shot. Everybody shake, shake, shake. Shake the devil off. Shake, shake, shake. Shake the devil off. ABC is easy as 1, 2, 3. I'm telling you, do, re, mi, ABC, 1, 2, 3. Alive, you and me. Mwah, 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 mwah. All right, y'all know what we do. We shake it up, pour it up, and drink it up. So we're going to start our day out right. We're going to start this day out right. All right, I know it's Thursday, but I promise you it feels like a Friday to me. Angel number 111. So listen, here's to divine connections, because what are the other ones good for, okay? Woo! Listen, I'm traveling today. This is definitely a 2-shot morning and a 1-shot afternoon, because I shall be on the road, and I have to drive because I'm going by myself. Cheers, you guys. Let me pour my hubby up. He driving too. He'll probably have a 2-shot morning too. I don't know though, so I'm gonna let him decide. It's gonna be his decision. Y'all ready to talk about divine connections? Listen, let me tell y'all something. Baby, I'm telling you, you better get you some divine connections in your life. Because let me tell y'all, when it is a divine connection, it naturally does what God needs it to do. It naturally does what God needs it to do. So we're going to go on and get started. I'm going to read the devotion. Listen, let me go on and put up the link for the devotion. I'm going to make a bit.ly. I might have to use one of the other ones because Facebook doesn't like bit.ly. Okay, so if I put bit.ly in something, it like wants to kick it out. I can't send it in a message. I have to send the actual link. It don't want to act right. But let me see if I can do this real quick, and then at least you guys will be able to see that it's easier to remember. Okay, when it's in a bit.ly. But we're gonna get started. Okay, let's talk about the devotion. Go ahead and get the ebook, right? Get the ebook. Both the ebook and the paperback are available for purchase right now. Today, they are, okay? If you want an autographed copy of the book, you got to let me know. I'll send you the link for that so that you can purchase that. I should be getting those around the 22nd. So that means that you won't have it in time for all of the fast. I suggest getting the ebook, working from the ebook, and then I can, if you want an autographed copy of the book, I can send you that. You can purchase that, and I can send that to you when it gets here. Okay. All right, let me get to it. Today is day 4 of the 21-day fast. Day 4 of the 21-day fast. Let me refresh. Great morning, Jason. How are you? All right, here we go. Day 4, people, divine connections. This is from 1 Samuel chapter 18, verses 1 through 4. 1 Samuel 18, verses 1 through 4. And the word of God reads, after David had finished talking with Saul, he met Jonathan, the king's son. There was an immediate bond between them, for Jonathan loved David. From that day on, Saul kept David with him and wouldn't let him return home. And Jonathan made a solemn pact with David because he loved him as he loved himself. Jonathan sealed the pact by taking off his robe and giving it to David, together with his tunic, sword, bow, and belt. Today is 111. Oh my God. Y'all know that this is, so the fact that we're talking about divine connections is not an accident. And the fact that today is 111. And what was the first number we saw? Did I see 111? No. I didn't see it yet. Listen. So today is 111. We'll talk about that in just a minute. So David found himself in a position where his willingness to face Goliath, remember we just talked about Goliath and David yesterday. You see how God be connecting the dots? David found himself in a position where his willingness to face Goliath gave him favor with the king. King Saul wanted to know more about this young man who was willing to put his life on the line for the sake of representing God. It was after their conversation that David met Saul's son, Jonathan, and they immediately connected. Have y'all ever met somebody and you just like immediately like clicked? It was just like click, okay? The word says that Jonathan loved David. It was a selfless love. That love was demonstrated by Jonathan giving his robe, tunic, sword, bow, and belt all to David as a symbol of their bond. You see, it's not enough to say that you love someone. Anyone can say the words. My sister just said this the other day. But it is in the action that love is demonstrated. This connection between Jonathan and David was one that was not haphazard. Instead, it was divine. Divine connections or relationships are those that are established with God's intention. They are used by God to get those involved to their destiny. Often they require sacrifices from those involved, but they are necessary. Ooh, they are a crucial part of the destiny journey. Yet we often struggle with them because of our past hurts and disappointments as it relates to other people. But we don't have time to live in our past hurts and disappointments. Our destiny is calling us, and we need to be in alignment with God and those he sends and is using to help us get to destiny. In this season, God is sending the people, come on, that you have a divine connection with, as well as removing those people that you don't. Yet the million-dollar question is, how do I know who is a divine connection and who is not? Let's examine the relationship between Jonathan and David for clues and lessons to help us know what to look for and how to move. Well, upon meeting one another, David and Jonathan knew that there was a unique connection that they possessed with one another. God gave them a love for one another that would eventually lead to Jonathan siding with David over his own father, King Saul. When you encounter these people, you will know it in your spirit. Something in you will leap and you will know that you are supposed to be connected to these people. Much like Elizabeth and Jesus' mother, Mary, all Mary had to do was show up and John leaped in Elizabeth's womb. His leap was a confirmation for Elizabeth that she was supposed to be connected to Mary. They knew in that moment that not only were they connected, but the babies that they carried were also connected, and not because they were cousins. My God, I don't know about y'all, but this word got me wired up already. Hold on, y'all. Listen to me. However, regardless of the strength of the connection or its divinity, failure to value and nurture those connections can lead to a host of problems and challenges. Rather than focusing on all of the possible things that could go wrong in the relationships, we must choose to trust God with the process. Does that mean that there won't be any problems or challenges? No. In fact, there are often more challenges because the enemy seeks to destroy those divine connections or poison them so that they do not fulfill God's purpose for our lives and our destinies. Baby, don't get caught up in the tricks of the enemy. Don't allow the enemy or the inner me to cause you to destroy what God sent to bless. Honor those connections and do not allow the enemy to create division. These are the connections that will get you to your destiny. Even if one of you must sacrifice some things for it to happen for the other, God will honor your sacrifice and bless you and your seed as a result of your obedience. My question to you is, will you recognize those divine connections and relationships? Or will you, like so many others, allow the enemy to trick you into throwing them away before they have fulfilled their God-ordained purpose? Check your life and your circle. Who are those people or that person in your life in this season? Once you figure that out, hold on to those relationships. Now that you know for sure who your divine connections are, let them know how much they mean to you, not just with your words, but also with your actions. Show them your commitment to them and your commitment to your relationship. Divine connections are not frivolous relationships to be taken lightly or for granted. God sends them for purpose and destiny. Keep the divine so that God can fulfill his purpose in your life and get you to your destiny. Ah, hallelujah. Listen, listen, listen. Angel number 133, listen to me. The enemy wants to destroy divine connections. The enemy never wants them to come to fruition. When they come to fruition, he wants to create division. You need to know who those people are that are divine connections for you, and don't mess it up. It doesn't mean that you got to be perfect. It doesn't mean that you got to get everything right, but it means that you better, y'all, I almost cussed. Listen, it means that you better value those relationships and honor them. I have some relationships in my life that I know are divine relationships. Those are relationships where I'll be uncomfortable. I'll go the extra mile. I'll do something I normally wouldn't do for those people in that relationship. Why? I understand the value of the relationship, and it is not one-sided. One of the problems that we often encounter is we've had so many freaking one-sided relationships that we're always waiting to see. We need people to prove to us that they really are for us, that they really do have us before we really put ourselves out there. Well, I'm going to tell you this. You're going to mess around and find out and miss out on some relationships that God intended for you and your life and your destiny, because they are destiny keys. Because you've been hurt and you need them to prove to you first. Instead of trusting what you know, because you knew. Listen, y'all can't tell me you haven't had people that you encountered like you knew they were supposed to be in your life. You knew they were supposed to be a part of your life. You just knew it, like something in you knew, like something in you leaked. I was talking to one of my girlfriends the other day, and we haven't talked a lot. We've both been doing our own thing. We haven't talked a lot, but we were talking about that. We were talking about just how divine our connection is. Now look what we're talking about today. Divine connection. You got to understand that God sends divine connection for purpose, and not one person's purpose. For both people's purpose. Both people's destiny. Your destinies are intertwined. You'll discover that there's overlap in your destinies. Your destinies are designed. Listen, I was having a conversation last night, and I said something that I don't say often, and I don't even like to say, right? I said, listen, I need you. We need y'all. That's not something that I normally just say. I don't like needing nobody, first of all. And I definitely don't like having to tell nobody that I need them, okay? But I knew in that moment it was something that had to be said. See, people are so used to not operating in destiny, in connection with other people. But what I know is what God is doing in this season is he's bringing a group of people together to do something that none of them could do by themselves. I need you to know that what God has for me to do, I can't do by myself, and I know it. I'm not so foolish as to think I can just do it by myself. Listen, I didn't even want to do it, but God said, no, I'm sending the people to you. I'm grateful for my obedience to God, because my obedience to God has allowed me to help a group of prophets rise up. People who are prophets that know they have a prophetic call on their life, but they just don't know what to do with it, didn't know what to do with it, trying to figure out what to do with it. But God allowed us to create a space where they can grow and learn and gain confidence in their prophetic voice. And as a result, the very prophets I've been pouring into have been pouring into me and mine. The very prophets that I poured into have been speaking a word over me, my husband, and our marriage. Those very prophets. But do you see, that's the power of divine connections. Divine connections will always do something just when you need it. Just when you need it. Just when you need it. Something will happen, it'll show up. Divine connections are not bound by time. Listen, divine connections are not bound by time. Doesn't matter how long it's been since you talked to somebody. When they're divine connection, when you talk again, it's as though there was no time. It's those other connections where you got to work real hard. You got to work real hard to just rekindle it. No, when it's divine, it just is. It is because it has always been. Before you ever saw each other, that connection existed. So when you saw each other, the God in you recognized the God in them. You knew you were to be connected, and so you are. So we have a responsibility. We have a responsibility to examine our connections and see which ones be of God, which ones be divine, which ones are for right now, this season of your life. Some connections have fulfilled their purpose. It doesn't mean you throw people away, but you just recognize that the connection fulfilled its purpose. Doesn't mean that the people aren't valuable, you aren't valuable, or the relationship isn't valuable. It means that it fulfilled its purpose. And so the relationship changes. We don't do well with relationship changes. We feel like it's got to be exactly the same all the time, but that's not the truth. That's a lie of the enemy. It's a lie the enemy uses to try to convince you, oh, that wasn't God, or, they didn't really care about. That's not it. You have to check your divine connections. Good morning, baby. You doing one or you doing two? Okay.
I'll be back.
Okay, baby. Your divine connections. Your divine connections. What you gonna do with your divine connections? What? Listen, there's no single way to do anything. But there's a way to do everything. When you understand who people are in your life, you have a responsibility to handle that relationship well. A responsibility to handle that relationship well. To know that if something happens, you did everything in your power, even if it seems like it's getting off track. You listen, have a conversation. See, we're afraid of conversations. We don't want to talk no more because we don't want to be vulnerable. We don't want to tell how we feel. I felt like this when you. Own your feeling. Your feelings. Don't let your feelings, because it could very well be a misunderstanding. Sometimes it's a misunderstanding. So what you have to do is be willing to have a conversation. Not hold everything in. Y'all know we get so good at holding everything in. We have suppressed and repressed emotions. And they affect us and they affect our health because we're holding everything in. No, you've got to let things out in a healthy way. Well, how do you let it out in a healthy way, Dr. V? You have a freaking conversation. Angel number 111 is a harbinger of new beginnings and positive change. It's a symbol of leaving behind a past that definitely should stay in the past, moving forward to a more positive future. It's associated with confidence, motivation, and independence. It means a new journey of self is on its way. Why not experience a new journey of you? I know how you've been in the past, and I know what you've done in the past. How about do something different? How about that? How about take a chance on you? Take a chance on those divine connections. Just because you've been hurt in friendships before doesn't mean that you don't need no friends. No, you do. Angel number 144. You do need people. All of us need somebody. All of us need people in our life. I ain't saying you got to have a lot of people, but all of us need people. God created us that way. He created us interdependent. The whole story of Adam and Eve is about interdependence. So if there was no man, there would be no woman. And then the irony of it is, without a woman, there can be no birth. Do you understand what I'm telling you? Listen, everything is about how interdependent we are. And we've got to understand that. Angel number 144 symbolizes a strong connection with divine love and a reminder to align your actions with your spiritual purpose. What is your spiritual purpose? What is your purpose? Then your actions ought to align with that. This is the problem. We don't understand our purpose. We don't know why we're here. We don't know why we were created. We don't know what we're supposed to be doing. So we just do stuff. I don't have time to just do stuff. Everything I do has to align with my purpose. Has to align. Well, Dr. V, what is your purpose? My purpose is to inspire and empower people to become the best version of themselves that they can be, to be who God created them to be originally, to return to their original design and to fulfill their destiny. That's my purpose. That's my purpose. Everything I do ought to align with that. Therefore, I'm out of purpose and out of alignment when I do anything that is contrary to that. If it is not inspiring and empowering people, and if it's not helping them to become the best version of themselves, if it is not helping them to be the version of themselves that God created them to be, if it is not helping them to get to their destiny, what am I doing? I'm out of alignment. So when I become petty and passive aggressive, I am out of alignment. I'm out of alignment. Now that's just facts. So when we can get a clarity on our purpose and see that our actions need to align with our purpose, when we do anything contrary to that, we ought to feel some kind of way. We ought to feel some type of way. Jason said, we're talking about that in our men's group, our purpose in ministry and home. Yes. Because I promise you this. Listen, I'm going to tell y'all something. People often look at me and think, I just want to be in charge. I just want to be in control, right? I really don't. I really don't. I want to control some things, absolutely. Things as it relates to me, I absolutely want to control those things. Things related to something that God has given me to do, I want to control those. So I have to work to make sure that I learn how to delegate, to share the weight so that I'm not carrying everything, right? But relationally, I don't want to control everything, but I also don't want to be controlled. I don't want to control everything, but I also don't want to be controlled. And there's something about when a man knows his purpose and is walking in it that's incredibly powerful and freeing. Because as a woman, now you can kind of just lean back and just like, ooh, okay, all right, I can rest because he got it, right? We've got to understand that we need men. We need them. We need y'all. Every man on here, I need you to know we need you. We as women need y'all. We weren't built to do a lot of the stuff that we do. We've had to learn to do it, and over decades and generation, it's caused us to get out of alignment because we had to, not because we wanted to, because we had to. I know it makes it challenging for a man who comes in and wants to do right and wants to lead and wants to do those things. But this is the next thing. We got to trust you know where you're going. If we don't trust you know where you're going, if we don't trust that you're in total alignment with God, if we don't trust those things, it's hard for us to hand it over to you. Because we feel like you're going to mess it up. But when a man knows his purpose, when he knows his purpose and he's walking in his purpose and he's living out his God-given assignment, it is much easier for us to fall back. It is much easier for us to trust the process with them. But regardless, we got to trust the process. Regardless, we got to relinquish some control. Regardless, we have to, because that's a part of being in alignment. Lisa said, Lord, Lord, speak, prophet. That's almost my entire mission statement. Bless the Lord. You know why, Lisa? Because we're a divine connection. We've been a divine connection since we were in college. It didn't matter. We just always knew there was something about the other that we just absolutely loved. And it didn't matter what anybody said. Let me tell y'all something. They used to talk about me in college. I ain't even gonna tell y'all no lie. They talked about me like a dog, and they did. They talked about me like a dog. And one of the reasons they talked about me like a dog was because I was gonna live life on my own terms, and I didn't care what nobody had to say about it, right? So what they did was they assumed I was doing a lot of stuff I wasn't doing, but I was doing my share of stuff. They believe that, okay? But I knew this. I just was like, I don't care about them people talking about me. Because what I knew was, I knew what my grades were doing, and I knew what I was doing. Okay? So, and I could assume responsibility for what I was doing. See, the difference between me and most people is most people sneak and do stuff, and they don't take responsibility for what they did. I'm gonna own what I did. I did what I did. And who I did. If I did them, I did them. But if I didn't do them, don't be lying on it. You know good and well. You know good and well. Come on now. So when people were thinking that I was doing all of these guys that I wasn't doing because we were friends, I've always had more male friends than female friends. Always, 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 always. I just always felt like women bring too much drama. They do too much. It's always too competitive. I don't have time for that. Like, I don't have the energy for that because I operate more like guys operate. You know, I just be some stuff. I be like, that's too much. That's too much. That's too much. Y'all doing too much. It ain't that complicated, right? But I'm also very much a woman, right? Also very much, and I'm going to communicate, and I'm going to want you to communicate. So I really do understand the duality of our existence, the masculine and feminine energy that exists within all of us. So I embody both. I embody both. I understand when I need to be more in charge or more assertive. I also know how to fall back. Do I do it all perfectly? I don't. Have I mastered that? I haven't mastered that. I haven't. You see how I just did that? I just took accountability. See, we need to normalize taking accountability and knowing who you are and where you are in your journey. Yes, Lisa. Look, this conversation about divine connections is crucial. It's crucial. And the reason that it's crucial is that if we don't establish those connections, and if we don't do with them what God needs us to do, we stop each other. We delay each other from getting to destiny when we could get there a lot quicker. You can get there a lot quicker together than you can by yourself. You can do more with someone else or with others than you can by yourself. And God has really had to take me off of the Lone Ranger thing, because I promise you, I would be like, listen, it's just me, myself, and I. Listen, I preferred it because I know me. I know what I can do. I discovered putting my faith and confidence in other people. Like, I was like, but you ain't doing what you said you was going to do. You're not doing nothing that you said. So it becomes challenging. But listen, I'd rather work on finding those people who see the vision that I see, who are able to come in and help carry the weight, than to do it all myself. And I still, listen to what I'm telling you. I want y'all to hear me clearly. And I still have to deal with trust. I still have to deal with it. I still have to deal with trust. I still got to get on the other side of that. I still got to get on the other side of feeling like I'm going to be dropped or betrayed or you mishandled, or like I still have to get on the other side of it. It's not easy. When I open myself up, that's not easy. It's easier for me to open myself up right here than it is for me to open myself up to people in real life. Because I feel like this gives us a safe distance. You can mess up and it's okay because I ain't got to see you. In real life, we're going to see each other. So I have to get my, and then I be seeing stuff. I be like, let me tell you something that Jesus has taught me, and I have to work on implementing. Jesus knew every single one of the disciples, and none of them were perfect. All of them had issues, and everybody got something wrong, right? The only one that stayed with him the whole time was John. John was the only one that stayed with him the whole time. And that's why he told John, this is your mother, woman, this is your son. Because that was his way of telling John, take care of my mama. And telling his mama, you're going to be taken care of. Okay? Same way you loved me, love him. Angel number 155. Look, we have to normalize that people are imperfect, that people are going to mess up and they're going to make mistakes. We're going to mess up and we're going to make mistakes. That's not the issue. The issue is, what do you do with that? Do you hold it against people forever, or do you allow people to be redeemed, or do you just forgive them and move forward? Like, you got to figure that out, especially if it's a divine connection. I've had to learn with divine connections, we don't have to like the way we do everything. I ain't got to like the way you do what you do, and you ain't got to like the way I do what I do. But what we do have to do is honor our connection. And if we honor our connection and show it the proper reverence, right? If we show our relationship the proper reverence, if we show each other the proper honor, then God will help work through anything else that needs to be worked through. Angel number 155. Hold on, y'all. It signifies personal growth, adaptability, and embracing all of who you are. It brings forth a plethora of positive aspects into your life. It's a sign to make changes in your relationship if you have problems. The repeated fives indicate changes on the horizon. It promotes the freedom to live your divine life purpose and fully serve your soul mission. Do not allow others to deter or hinder you. 155 is a sign from the angels that you are capable of achieving your dreams and goals if you put in the hard work, focus on positive thoughts, and stay the course. It represents the idea of spiritual growth and evolution. It's time for us to grow up. It's time for us to mature. It's time for us to not just talk the talk, but walk the walk. This is a season where you really do have to walk it out. And I find it so ironic that that's the song that has created a lot of controversy and swag and surf. But the walk it out part, because I promise you, we're in a season where God is calling us to walk out the things that we believe, to walk out the things that He has told us. Now, we've got to walk that out. It's not enough to know it. You've got to live it. You got to literally live it. Walk it out in your daily life. Walk it out on the job. Walk it out in ministry. Walk it out in business. You got to walk it out in your romance, your romantic relationships. Walk it out in your friendships. You got to walk it out. You really have to do those things that God has called you to do and not just talk about them. Today, I challenge you to honor those divine connections, to let people know, like, Our connection is a divine one. God connected us. And I think that we only think about this with marriage, but it's not just a marital thing. It's not just a marriage thing, right? The concept of covenant, right? We think about covenant with marriage because we say, it's a marriage covenant. We made a covenant with each other and God, and or before God, right? But the reality is there should be other covenant relationships in your life. Those are relationships where you're in covenant with one another. You riding for one another. You rocking with one another. Where when that person is down, you got them. You gonna pick them up. You gonna pray for them. And if there's a way that you can meet a need, you're gonna meet that need. Like that's what you do in a covenant relationship. Covenant relationships aren't like regular relationships. They're not. There's another level of commitment in them, right? We don't understand covenant relationships. We don't understand covenant relationships in marriage, and we don't understand it in friendships. We don't understand it in business. We don't understand it in ministry. We don't understand it. And so that's why we find ourselves tossed to and fro. When you get those divine connections, establish those covenant relationships. Once you know this is a divine connection, this is something that God wants me to protect. And you do that no matter what happens. Y'all may fall out, but give yourself some time and get some clarity. Figure out what you need to do and fix it. I'm a firm believer in fix it. If it can be fixed, fix it. If it can be fixed, fix it. If it can't be fixed, it can't be fixed. You do your part. We're only responsible for our part. Yes. Covenant relationship. Like David and Jonathan. This is how you know it was a covenant relationship. Jonathan gave David his whole outfit, whole everything, and his bow. From his bow and arrow, his bow and his sword. He gave his tunic, his belt, his bow, his sword. He gave all of that to David as a sign of their covenant. And this covenant, when you start handing people your clothes now, because listen, this covenant, right? But it didn't stop there. The covenant was tried and it was tested. When Jonathan saw his daddy trying to kill David and knew David didn't do anything wrong, he'd tell his daddy, he didn't do nothing. What you doing? He didn't do nothing. And when he came down to it, he gave his life for David. He sacrificed his life. When it came down to it, and he had to decide who he was going to be with, his daddy or David, that's what he did. David, because you wrong, daddy. See, we want to just side with people because of our connection to them, our relationship with them. Listen, that can't be the deciding factor. Regardless of my relationship with somebody, if they're wrong, they're wrong. If you wrong, I'm not going to side with you. I'm going to love you, but I'm going to tell you, you wrong. Because wrong is wrong. Jason said, thanks for letting God use you to help change people's lives. I don't take my divine connections lightly. You made a difference in my life in the last 6 months. If I wasn't hearing and focusing on God, I would have missed my divine connections through April. My mind and my heart is fixed. I just want to let the world know you're genuine and true. Much love and respect to you. Thank you, Jason. You're a divine connection too. Like, I know there's some stuff that we're going to do that's going to change a lot of people's lives. And I'm excited about that. I don't have to do everything. What I do have to do is see the people and who they are and where they are. And because I'm a visionary, I can see those connections and I can see the strategies. And because I'm a prophet and a visionary, yeah, I'm able to see a little further down the road. But I appreciate that because you truly are a divine connection. The fact that you're present on this live, the fact that you keep coming back says that there's something that keeps drawing you. There's something that keeps drawing you. And I want to extend an invitation to you. One of the things that I know is in this season, there's some monumental things that God is getting ready to require us to do, right? And I'm going to be very frank with you all about what that means. It means that there are some costs that are going to be incurred. There just are. There's some costs that I incur regularly that I've just carried, right? I just carry the cost. Why? Because it's what I do. But I know that I'm in a season where I need your support. I need your help. And if you are being blessed by what's happening here, if you're being blessed by the word that you get every day, 7 days a week, and on holidays. If you're being blessed by that, put a seed in the ground. Make a commitment to just regularly sow into my life, right? Not because you have to, because you don't. I'm still going to show up regardless. But because you see what I'm doing and you want to be a part of it, you want to sow into it. I'm telling you, there's something about sowing seed in good ground. I'm going to put up my Cash App. But I want you all to think about making a consistent commitment to sowing into my life. Now, look, you're not paying for prophecy because I'm going to prophesy regardless, right? I'm going to say what the Lord says regardless. That's not what this is. This is that if you're being fed, sow into the life of the person that's feeding you. That's the law of sowing and reaping. And one thing that I try to make a conscious effort to do is regularly to sow into people's lives that bless me. If I get a word that blesses me, I try to sow into that person's life. Don't have to. I'm not paying them, but I understand the cost of doing what we do. I understand the cost of sowing into other people's lives. I understand the cost of it. There's a cost. Y'all, there's a weight that I carry that there's no way that most people could even begin to understand the weight that I carry. See, I don't just get on here and say some words, right? I am absolutely pouring into your lives, which means this, which means that not only am I pouring into your lives, not only am I prophesying, but I am literally carrying a burden for you to see you be successful, to see you be healthy, to see you be whole, to see you be complete, to see your finances flow. I carry a burden. And sometimes the burden gets heavy because of the things that I see. Now, remember, not only am I doing that for you, but I have a husband. I have children. I have grandchildren. I have aunts and uncles. I have my parents. I have siblings. I have all these other people that I'm also carrying, right? I've had to learn how broad my shoulders are and how strong my back is. Now, my goal is not to carry everybody. That's not my goal. But my goal is to recognize what can I do in order to help them figure out how to carry the weight that they have to carry, right? And empower them to do it. Empower you all to do it. I'm grateful that my children, when I talk to them, the more I talk to them, the more I know they've listened to me. The more I know beyond listening to me, they've watched me. They've watched me. They've watched me deal with challenges. They've watched me deal with persecution. They've watched me deal with betrayal. They've watched me deal with all kinds of things, losses, disappointment, divorce. They've watched me deal with people turning their backs on me. They've watched me deal with all of this, and they watched me deal with it with grace. Sometimes I was more graceful than others, but they've watched me deal with it with grace, right? They've watched me not try to just destroy people, even though I could. They've watched me not do that. They've watched me forgive. They've watched me reconcile. They watched me work to repair relationships. They watched me apologize. They've watched me repent. They watched me turn my ways and how I did. They've watched me grow. They've watched me acknowledge those things that I got wrong. They've watched me do all that. So the things that I talk about, I'm not just talking about it Like, these are things that I do. Do I always get it right? I don't. And I'll be the first one to tell you I don't always get it right. God definitely checks me. I just want to give you all an opportunity to be a partaker of the blessings that I know I'm walking into this year, right? And there's something that gives you a legitimate right to blessings, right? That are associated with someone else. And one of those things is seed sown with good intention, right? With good intention and expectation, it unlocks so many things in the absolute entire universe for you when you do that. It's the law, the universal law, the spiritual law of sowing and reaping. It's not just a spiritual law, it's a natural law. It's a natural law. You cannot reap from ground that you did not sow in. You cannot. That's not natural. You've got to put seed in the ground to reap a harvest. So today, I want you all to honor your divine connections. Honor your divine connections. And if I've blessed you, bless me. Bless me. Just sow a seed. Cash App $DRV Johnson 777. Cash App $DRV Johnson 777. What I know is this. Our affirmation for today is, I recognize and honor my divine connections, which are coming together to help me fulfill my purpose and my destiny. I recognize and honor my divine connections, which are coming together to help me fulfill my purpose and my destiny. Absolutely. Absolutely, woman of God. Look, let today be amazing. And know this, know that I absolutely love you guys to life and life more abundant. Have an amazing, incredible, and epic day. Be blessed. Mwah.